Hello everybody, Grizzly Risley here with 7.4 and 7.5 day 2, writing equations of linear and exponential functions. We're on page 25. Okay, so today's lesson is, if I give you a table, can you tell me if it's linear or exponential? And then can you write the equation to represent the table? Okay, so let's review linear functions first. When your function is linear, you are adding or subtracting the same amount from every y value each time. It's going to be an adding and subtracting change. So let's see if it's true. To get from -6 to -2, you're adding 4. To get from -2 to +2, you're adding 4. Well, same here, adding 4, same here, adding 4. So when this change is adding or subtracting, it tells you that it's a linear function. And just a reminder, a linear function looks like a line. And then let's talk about how to write its equation. The equation is y equals mx plus b. And then just to review, the m is the slope or the rate of change, and the b is the y-intercept. Okay, so that's all the information for linear functions. All right, now let's talk exponential. If the function is exponential, the same amount will be either multiplied or divided. That's the difference. Multiplied or divided from every y value. You guys, we've done this before, but it's been a while. All right, so let's look at our table. What are we either multiplying or dividing by to get from one number to the next? And it should be the same every time. So it's a little hard to see, so I'm going to start with these. 6 times 3 is 18. 2 times 3 is 6. 2/3 times 3 is 2. And 2/9 times 3 is 2/3. I know that this isn't very easy to see, but you can check it in the calculator. So when the change is multiplying or dividing, that means it's an exponential function. And just a reminder, an exponential function looks like a curve that's either going up or down. Okay, and then how do we write its equation? If you think back to the last set of notes, the equation is y equals a times b to the x power. And let's see if you guys remember what A and B stand for. A, this number out front, is the initial amount, also known as the y-intercept. And the B is the rate of change, the rate of growth or decay. All right, let's try some. So on the back, I'm going to give you guys a table, and I want you to tell me, is it linear or exponential, and then write the equation. All right, so we're going to do number 1. So let's see, how is y changing? What are you doing to y to get from 1 to the next? So how do you get from 4 to 1? 1 to 1/4, 1/4 to 1/16. And I hope you guys see that you're dividing by 4. Dividing by 4, dividing by 4. Okay, so if it's multiplying or dividing, that means that it's exponential. All right, so let's write our model. Exponential is y equals a times b to the x power. And we got to figure out what's what. Okay, so let's find A. A is the starting amount at 0, the y-intercept. So A is going to be whichever y value links up with x equals 0. So the starting amount, the y-intercept, is 1. It's the y value when x is 0. So a is going to be 1. And then b is the growth or decay rate, which is how much is it changing from one y to the next. Now, if you guys remember when we did this, when you're dividing, you actually write it as a fraction. So if it's dividing by 4, you're going to write it as 1/4. So b is actually 1/4. Okay, so if you put it all together, the equation of this exponential data is y equals 1 times 1/4 to the x power. Okay, so that's an example of an exponential. Now let's do number 3. Let's try that one. All right, so number 3. How is the y changing? How do you get from one y to the next? Let's see. So to get from here to here, we're adding 2? To get from here to here, we're also adding 2. And to get from here to here, we're also adding 2. All right, so when the change is adding and subtracting, that means that it is linear. And if it's linear, our model is y equals mx plus b. And let's go ahead and find the m and the b. So the m is the slope, or the rate of change, and it looks like we are rising 2 every time and running 1. Okay, so the slope is going to be 2 over 1, or just 2, right? Change in y over change in x, plus 2. And then the y-intercept, b, is the 0 comma, and that's 0 comma -3. Okay, so the y-intercept is -3. All right, if we have the m and we have the b, let's put it together. And the equation of the line is y equals mx plus b. So y equals 2x minus 3. All right, we'll practice this more tomorrow, but that should be enough to get you thinking about how this is going to go down. All right, thanks for watching, guys.